And we are back once again. I'm here with the mysterious man.
Hello, everybody. How's it going?
All right. Today we are going to talk about the topic of single mothers and why we should not avoid them, um, but try not to get involved if you can. Stay away. So we each have situations where we've been maybe not involved, but as to why we don't, why we try not to try as hard with them, um, and we try to avoid them. So I'm gonna let the mysterious man go first.
Okay. Um, Now this is actually pretty interesting diving into the vault here because I haven't thought about or spoken about this story in years, as a matter of fact. All right, so this was the year 2014, 2015, maybe one of those. I was in high school. And this was actually the first girl that I ever went out on a date with. We were talking for a little while and stuff, having vibing together over social media, texting back and forth, yada yada yada, this and that. So one night she asks me, "Hey, do you like me?" And then I said, "What do you mean, like?" She says, "Yeah, yeah, like." Told her, "Yeah," and that started. I'm trying to recollect why. I think she posted a selfie of herself, posed in such a way, and I left a comment. Uh, I don't know, I don't remember what exactly it was, but it was, I guess, one of those, hey, I like what I see criteria, whatever. So that happened. So we ended up going out and stuff. We, it was pretty nice, but me being so young, it was actually pretty innocent. We were just talking, eating pizza, stuff like that. And at the time, I didn't really, being 14, what does a 14-year-old guy know about, courting women and all that? So I didn't even kiss her or nothing that night. Only gave her two hugs, but we were liking each other and having fun. You know what I mean? Even though she had been through a lot of stuff already, and she had been, she experienced a lot more than I did. So, anyways, it turned out after that first date, she started talking to me a little less and less, and I started noticing that, and it got to the point where, of course, I addressed it fully on. I told her, "Hey, do you not want to continue on with this? Do you not want to see each other again?" And so she confessed to me that it turned out that she was pregnant, and she was pregnant on our date. And apparently, it was from that ex of hers that she had left a few. I don't remember exactly how long prior to that. It must have been not that long because it wasn't obvious she was pregnant. It must have been pretty early along. And some years later, I bump into her again at this house party, and she's all saying, "Hi, how are you? Oh my God, it's good to see you." This and that, and I told her, "Oh, hey, how's life treating you?" And yeah, it turned out that she ended up having two kids. It turned out she had twins, man. So I took a girl out that had two buns in the oven,
Wow,
but it didn't work out with her.
a good thing.
I personally would say yes, most definitely, because I was only 14 at the time, and you know, I was I had very traditional and strict parents growing up, you know. So, you know, they always taught me to stay clear of that stuff and don't do things like that until you're actually an adult. You're actually ready to handle all this stuff. So, the idea of, you know, kids having kids with our family's beliefs was a big no no. But if it happens, it happens. But my siblings and me, we were taught no, wait, because with everything in life, there's a right time and a right place for it. So, hindsight, yes, that was a good thing that I didn't get involved because I was way too young. I was still a kid myself, and who the hell wants to be a stepfather, quote unquote, when you're 14, right?
That sounds funny.
Right? Yeah, it sounds funny, doesn't it? But I dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, two of them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's yeah, that's a different story than most of the stories I've heard. So what would you advise? You know, now that you've had that experience, what would you advise other guys, other single guys that are out there looking and they happen to find a girl that has a child? What would you advise them?
Well, heck, man. I mean, well, the only reason why I say it was my situation, this situation was bad, is because we were literally children ourselves. You know what I mean? So if we're talking about grown adults here, grown men, then I would advise the friend or the brother, the cousin, whoever. I would say, well, man, there's a lot of factors, right? Like, not every single mom is single because of the same circumstances, you know? Sometimes it's problems with, you know, the woman being insufferable and not wanting to, you know, do the real partnership and the real teamwork that it takes to function as a marriage, you know, as a family. So sometimes it's that, sometimes it's the substances, sometimes it's all these other things, or sometimes it's the guy's fault, you know, or heck, sometimes, you know, this happens too. Not a lot of people mention. Sometimes it just simply doesn't work out. You know, sometimes people realize when they're already in too deep, you know what, I'm not happy and I don't think that I was really in love with you to begin with. I think maybe it was just an infatuation and you and I moved too fast. So I would say it really depends, man. I would tell the guy, well, is she a good woman? What's her circumstance? Why did the family break up? Uh, you know, if it's a legitimate reason and it wasn't, you know, things that she was doing, whether it be promiscuity or lying or domestic abuse, if it wasn't those kind of negative things, then I would say, well, you know what, man? If you're willing to get with this woman and you are fully aware and are fully ready to take on her child as well, then, you know, that's your choice. Go for it. You know, if you're willing to do that, but it's not easy. That's my take on it.
Okay. Yeah, I normally advise every guy I meet that doesn't have children himself. I usually advise him not to get involved. And the reason being is because first I was, you know, from my own personal experience, I come from a single mother home, and I was a horrible I was a horrible child. Well, no, I wasn't a horrible child, but I'm just saying I was, you know, it's as a boy, it's and you've never had a, a male role model of, you know, some sort, then authority is something you really kind of don't respect because you don't know how to respect it. You've never seen it, and usually that's what the male father brings. You know, the structure, the male structure is
Yes.
of a father is to bring that, hey, stupid, come back to reality.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
so that's something that my mother could never teach me. She could never teach me how to be a man. So I usually advise guys not to, not because you know they're bad or whatever, just because you're walking into a situation where it's somebody else's child. One, two. I mean, it's so fragile, and you gotta walk on eggshells practically because you don't want to say the wrong thing to the child.
Hmm. Yeah.
You don't want to influence the child in the wrong way. You don't want
Yeah.
to be the wrong role model. Then on top of
Yeah.
that, what if you guys are really good? Then you separate, and then now you have that great basis
The loss of that child.
foundation with that child, and now you're losing,
Hmm.
and you have absolutely no authority over them. The bad side of that is, well, you can't really discipline a child that's not yours, especially if the mother is not telling him, hey, you need to listen to this guy. And then even if she does say
Hmm.
that, then most likely the child is gonna be like, what? That ain't my father. I don't give a crap. Shut up, both of you.
Yeah.
You know. So
Yeah.
so I mean, you gotta. It's a very difficult situation in that aspect because you gotta jump around all kinds of, obstacles, and then the wrong turn, or the wrong gesture could turn out to be a disaster. And like I said, then we're not mentioning. Then they also have they also have their father, and you don't know if they're gonna be in their life. You don't know if they're gonna be coming in and out of their life. You don't know if the guy is just gonna disappear. You don't. You have no idea really what's going on when you walk into this relationship. And I have pretty good experience when it comes down to understanding what a father is supposed to be like. So a guy that's like used to hanging out with his friends, and used to being out and going out and doing things, a single mother is not going to be able to do all that. She's not going to be able just to be like, oh, I'm just going to drop my kid here, stick him in a bathtub or in a box, and I'll leave for a few hours and then come back. They can't just do that. So that's another factor for a guy that's single, is now you're holding yourself down, and you want to see this person but you can't because of a past decision they made. So now you're paying for this person's past decisions, which doesn't make much sense when you have a whole future ahead of you. So in that aspect, that's another.
Wow.
What happened?
No, I was just saying. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, okay. So when you start to understand the different perspectives, then you actually start seeing, wow, it's really not beneficial in any way. Because, well, maybe not in any way, but I'm just saying it's the amount of benefits compared to how bad it could go. Kind
Yeah,
of.
the hardships.
Yeah. So it's like the hardships outweigh the benefit. So because again, if you're single, you want to go out, you want to go do your thing. Now you can't because you just got yourself a microwave family, and and you don't know how to be a father. You don't know how to be a good male role model. Even let's say you have a little brother, but now you have another kid that's coming in again. It's not the same thing, because you're not supposed to be this kid's friend, but you're not supposed to be their father, and you can't.
So what the hell are you supposed to be then? I guess, huh?
You're like in limbo all the time. What I can say is, like, when you have a little brother, then you could be like, oh, that's my little brother, this is how I'm supposed to be, and you have
Yeah.
a good idea of what you're supposed to be, instead of, hey, I just walked into this microwave family. And
So I see what you're saying. So the point is, at least when it comes to our actual blood relations, there is a definitive role on what we're supposed to do with these children, as opposed to, okay, my girlfriend's kids. What the hell am I supposed to do here? I mean, with my little brother, I'm supposed to be the big brother.
yeah, your role is very defined.
With my actual son, I'm Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I never thought about that one.
You might want to repeat that because you kind of cut out.
Oh, I was saying, yeah, I never thought about that one. That makes a lot of sense. I can actually think of a few situations. I'm not going to get too specific about them, but you know, I know a few people where the situation was they got together, got married, but they both already had their own kids, from previous spouses, whatever, whatever. But now that I think of it, I can recall plenty of times where the stepmom didn't know what the hell to do, the stepdad didn't know what the hell to do. It just seemed like a lot of times it was a lot of chaos. So I suppose this here is the explanation to said chaos.
Well, yeah, because like in your family, like when you're the father and it's your child, you put more. You know your role. You know that you're supposed to be there and protect. You know that part. You're supposed to teach.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what
Mm-hmm.
you're supposed to do, right? When you're an actual stepfather, you're married with this woman. Now you adopt a child. The whole transition happens. Okay, now you have authority. Now you know what you're supposed to do. Your role is set. You know exactly what you're supposed to do, right? But
Mm-hmm.
when you're walking into it, again, it's like you put food in the microwave. It's hot. The noodles
Mm-hmm.
grew. Now you have an extra kid.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, whoa, what the,
Yeah.
So and then you can't tell the kid what to do. You can't also teach the kid the wrong thing. You don't know what the kid is thinking at all because you don't know who it is, and then you don't know what what the kid already has in their mind. Which maybe their father taught them. So there's a whole bunch that's in between that, and if you're single and you're not, you have no idea, and you have no actual defined role, what's the point? you know I mean, if you're a guy that's single, or a father that's single, that's a little different, because at least you can maybe not be the father as you walk in, but maybe you have some understanding of what the child is going through. But if you're a single guy and you've been partying, or going out with your friends and having fun, and then now you're in front of this kid, you have no idea who it is. It's very difficult to redefine yourself in that aspect, because where do you go? What do you say? Do you just stare at each other?
Yeah.
And it's like, it,
Yeah.
and then if you guys do play, what if the kid just actually wants an actual father, and they just come and they're very comfortable with you, and they just come and sit on you, and you're like, oh, cool, now we have a bond. Problem is what if things go wrong with the mother, and now you have to think. There's so much in between, and it becomes so complex in that aspect. And everything is true. It's not like I'm making this stuff up. I'm saying stuff that has really happened, like where
Yeah.
where the I guess the mom's boyfriend comes. There, everybody's eating. He says something. He probably didn't say it in a bad way, and then the kid, who is extremely emotional because he doesn't have his father there, all of a sudden feels overwhelmed with whatever that was said, and he gets triggered. Now he's crashing out, and stuff is getting thrown, and everybody's screaming and yelling. It just becomes a mess, and it's not because the boyfriend's a bad guy. It's not because the kid's a bad guy, or the mother in that aspect, because it's just,
Chemistry is just jacked.
yeah, there's just so much going on at one time that it becomes a mess. And that's the reason why I mean, it's not the only reason, but that's one of the main reasons why I tell guys who are single and who've never had any type of child around them. I tell them, what you want to do is get yourself a girl with no kids. Do not get involved with a single mother, because it's gonna discourage you from
Mhm.
the, what could be your future. And you're gonna
Yeah.
wanna, it's like I said, you gotta walk on eggshells. You gotta watch. You gotta dot every single I,
Yep.
cross every T, because
Yep.
it's a very
Hmm.
difficult situation to be in.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again,
And who the hell wants to live like that regularly?
yeah, that just sounds like a mess. That sounds like a terrible situation. But then we
Yeah.
we go back, and let's say it's a father, or a single guy who has kids. He can come in and understand what's going on a little bit better. Now it's not going
Yeah.
to be much better for him, but it's still,
Yeah.
he can read between certain uh, actions that happen. They can actually understand the situation because they've been in something similar already. So they have a little bit more experience. So it makes more sense for a single father to be able to get involved with a single mother.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense
Mm.
than to have, you know, some guy off the street, fresh off the street. All he knows is, his freedom, and he comes into this,
Yeah.
and it turns into a,
No fathering experience at all.
yeah, that's kind of like, I give you a wrench.
You know what? That makes sense too.
Yeah, I give you a wrench, and I tell you, go ahead. I want you to fix the valves on this thing, and you're looking at me like, what am I supposed to do with this wrench? Like,
Yeah.
am I?
You know what? Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so that's a lot of people don't understand. Like when I tell them, stay away from single mothers. It's not because I'm actually, how should I say, against single mothers. I'm not against the mother. The mother makes her choices. That's her business. Um,
Yeah.
you know,
It's the situation that
yeah,
you're saying, just to your clear of,
yeah,
not necessarily the person themselves. Yes.
yeah. Because the thing is the kids pay. The kids are the ones that pay in the end. It's not the mother.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because the mother could just turn
Yeah.
around, she sees something wrong with you, and she gets rid of you. On to the
Yeah.
next guy, right?
And then it's over.
Yeah,
You
that's,
know what? Uh, yeah, I actually have an example of that. My I'm not entirely sure how to describe him anymore these days because things have changed, So, I guess former best friend. Does that make any sense? Used to be my best friend, but nowadays, a left unread text is usually the majority of what it is, and rarely a response.
we'll
Yeah, I guess that's whatever.
we'll call it a best friend which I outgrew.
I reckon so. Maybe that's the case, but yeah, that's what we'll go with. Now, this guy, he was a single dad, as a matter of fact, and he had a daughter who was already a toddler at this point when he met um, his former his former girlfriend. See, and it got to the point where they moved in together. They were living together for 2 years straight, and the daughter of his and this girl that he was with, they grew to be practically inseparable, dude. She was, see, this girl, she wants nothing more in the world but to be a mother. But if I remember correctly, the best of my recollection, I think she's not physically able to bear children, unfortunately. And so she really, really grew this deep bond, this deep affection. She really fell in love with that little girl, and same vice versa. You know, um, and unfortunately, the relationship ended, and it really destroyed the little girl, and really destroyed that young woman as well. And that was, from a third person perspective, being, so close to them being my best friends, it was pretty heartbreaking to watch too. You know. Um, so yeah, I guess my take from all this altogether is it seems like it's just too much of a gamble, right? Because even if the kid ends up liking you, then it's still a matter of, well, what if the relationship between the child and their mother, my girlfriend, doesn't go well, and it just ends up ending in heartbreak for everybody, especially the kid. So it just seems like too big of a gamble, you know. That's how I see it now, I suppose, with that new perspective that I haven't really uh, realized before.
Yeah, so I mean, that's the reason why I tell guys that, also then you got to think financially. Um, every time
Mhm.
you go out, you're gonna have to go.
Mhm.
You're gonna have to go out, but you're gonna have to go all out because you only go out with this person when they can. You know, so when you go out with them, you want to go out. You want to go all out practically, which is good. But then it comes out bad because again, what if the relationship doesn't work later on? Then you just went ahead and spend a whole bunch of money for no reason. Second,
Mhm.
if you're a nice guy, then she's probably gonna take a little bit of advantage of you because that's just what happens
That's
to
what you
nice
feel.
guys. Nice guys get taken
Hmm.
advantage of, unfortunately, and
Yes.
you know they usually take advantage of by time or money, so or resources, whatever you have. So it doesn't really make much sense in the aspect of you know is it good for your future too? That's another thing. And then last but not least, when you go to your family, are they going to be able to accept this child as well, along with you know
Oh,
that's another
that too.
that's another obstacle to go over. So it's like it's obstacle after obstacle after obstacle, and
Hmm.
then it just becomes an uphill battle, and sometimes
Yep.
you know I mean, it's up to you if you want to die on that hill, but personally,
Yeah.
I just don't, and I don't think it's worth it
Yeah.
to some guys, especially like I
Yeah.
said, you have your whole future ahead of you. She made a bad decision. Why are you paying for it? So that doesn't
Hmm.
make any sense as well. If you look at it from
Yes.
a third party standpoint of view, you realize that where are the benefits at? You get to
Yes.
be with the girl. Okay, let's say you're fully in love with this girl. Man,
Mhm.
that love's gonna hurt. It's gonna take a lot out of you because it's not gonna be that easy, unfortunately. Um, and then, last but not least, like you said earlier, it could just be a girl that she's constantly making bad choices, and maybe she doesn't have a father in her life, so she doesn't know how to keep a man in her life. All right, so we're back because we were having uh, audio difficulties. But like I was saying, being in those type of relationships is extremely difficult. Um, because again, as a single guy who's has all these things going on that he's normally used to doing, going back and forth, you're not gonna be able to have that anymore. It kind of anchors you, and then like we said, the other side of the coin is, what if it's a girl that has two, three babies and with different fathers. I mean, that kind of shows a little bit of a trend of making bad decisions in your life,
Mhm.
and maybe they don't have a father in their life, and maybe that is what is keeping her from understanding on how to keep a man in her child's life or children's life or even her life. So that's another part of it, because she might be having fatherless behavior, which you don't know about, and you will probably find out later. Sometimes it's too late. Another thing is too is you don't know what she's done to the other guy, you know,
Mhm.
because let's say it's two babies and two different baby daddies, and she tells you that one of them is not there, but the other one is, and he's paying child support. Um, we don't know. That kind of sounds iffy right there. Because why is one
Yes.
guy sticking around and paying child
Mm-hmm.
support, and the other guy is not. Like, you know, that's a little
Mm-hmm.
that's a little funny to me, because it kind of shows that she knew how to pick one guy, but she didn't know how to pick the other guy. But then she made two bad choices in a row. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, the kids aren't the bad choice. Having the kid is not the bad choice. It's the fact that
Yes.
she didn't know how to pick the man. That's the bad
Mm-hmm.
choice. You know.
Yes.
And again, we don't. You know, women always want to say, "Oh, the kid is baggage." No, 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 no. The kid is not baggage. There's nothing wrong with the kid. The kid comes out this pure, wonderful, beautiful soul. So the kid's not
Mm-hmm.
at fault. Your decisions are the baggage.
Mm-hmm.
Your bad
Yes.
decisions, not understanding how to pick the right man, not understanding
Mm-hmm.
or having a good male role model in your life to be able to choose a good father for your child. That's the baggage.
Yes.
So the child is never the baggage. The child is, what has it done? All it wants is to eat,
Mm-hmm.
be happy. That's it.
Yeah.
So children are really not that complicated.
Yeah.
But I guess we overcomplicate things, because we're adults. I don't know what else.
Such is life.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things when it comes down to it. So when you dissect it all, then you start realizing, wow, maybe I should have to double think this, because again, the child gets affected the most. And then what happens? Let's say it all works out. Let's say we're living in Disneyland and
Mm-hmm.
everything's wonderful, and she has one child that's not yours, but then she has another child that is yours.
Mm.
Now what's gonna happen? Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Now it gets even more interesting, because the eldest child is not gonna feel the same, because you're probably gonna be more connected to what is your child, which came out of your body.
Yes.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
another part of it. And that turns into complications, because the other child may see that you're more attentive to the baby, and may construe that as something else, or maybe they're thinking, well,
Yeah.
I'm the odd man out, or oh, I'm not wanted, or because
Mm-hmm.
when you're a kid, you don't. There's a lot of emotions, and then especially if you're a guy who just came in recently, and the kids already had a few years behind them, like maybe 4 or 5, they already have a certain way of thinking. So if
Yeah.
the mother's the only one there, then that child's probably going to be very emotional. So as the child grows up, he's going to see you, and then he's going to feel left out. So those
Yeah.
are things that you really have to think about all this. It's not just cut and dry, single mothers are no good, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm sure there's a lot of wonderful women out there that have been done wrong. So I'm
Yes.
not going to say all men are innocent. I'm not also not going to say all women are innocent. That's just not, that's not reality. In reality,
Yes.
you have guys who do bad things, you have girls who do bad things, and you just gotta be able to learn how to pick it. But if you have a
Yeah.
good male role model, you'll understand how to pick a good man for your child, or
Mhm.
father for your child. And
Yes.
if you have a good female role model in you, you'll be able to understand what it's like to have a good woman, or a good example of what is a good woman that you want in your life. So I mean,
Yeah.
the parents are not only the parents, but even some parents that step in, those are very good indications of what you're gonna want in your life or in your future, especially if they all worked out well and they've been together for years upon years, So that's literally what you want, Now, do these mothers that are single have all that? We don't know. So those are the things you have to ask yourself. Like I said, when I vet a girl, I always ask, how is her relationship with her father? Usually, women who have good relationships with their fathers, even though they might have passed or whatever, they usually have a a more structure, a more structured attitude when it comes down to men and what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
They can understand that, as you know, because they have a good base on it, as opposed to a girl who just has, you know, her mother all the time, and you kind of already know that's going to be a little bit of a roller coaster, and she
Mm-hmm.
doesn't understand the authority of a man. So you're gonna have to explain that. You're gonna have to go through the whole
Mm-hmm.
thing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
then after that, you have to understand each other. Then you know it becomes,
Mm-hmm.
and then if there's a kid involved, it takes even longer to get to know that person because again, you don't get to spend as much time together as you would if she was just single, because when she's single,
Yeah.
she's gonna have more time for you. But when she's with
Yeah.
a child, it's gonna be when she can, not
Mm-hmm.
when you can, you know, practically. So then that's another thing.
Yes.
It puts the single guy at a disadvantage because now she's dictating when you guys can go out, you know,
Yeah.
and that's another form of control. And you know, it's very subtle, but it also puts the guy as, well, you can go out when I tell you we can go out, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
that kind of, that's already starting off in the wrong way, because then that's showing that she has more control of the relationship than you do, you know.
Yeah.
Because if you're constantly available, that's not good either. You know, because
Mm.
what are you doing with your life if you're constantly available?
Yeah.
You know, so those are the, you
Mm.
know, all these things come up, and there's so much to it that that's the reason why I tell most guys stay away from single mothers, um, because again, it affects you in your life, in your future, and it can be in a negative way. And let's say it all
Mm-hmm.
works out again, like we said, and then you have a child, and then now, you know, there's an odd man out, and you know, it's a, woo, you know, so like it's a constant, like I said, you constantly have to watch what you do, and how you step,
Mm-hmm.
you know, who gets mad, who gets offended, who gets hurt. You know, those are all a
Yeah.
lot of things to worry about. And if again, if you're a single guy coming in and you had no worries the majority of your life, and you walk into this, man, I wish you luck,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yes.
it's a roller coaster. So you know, it's again, nobody's saying that every single girl is exactly the same. We're not saying that all single mothers are bad, but if you're gonna get into it, understand what you're gonna get yourself into, and also if you're a single father, understand what you're getting into. You already went through it once, and understand the
Mm-hmm.
red flags as to why you're not with the previous girl that you had. You know, you apparently did something wrong, or you chose something wrong, and that's why it went bad. And now you're about to get into a relationship with somebody else, which they also have a similar experience where they definitely didn't make the right choice. That's why they're not with the person. And now you both have made bad choices in life, and then you're meeting each
Mm-hmm.
other. And
Yep.
you know, you never know, you both could be making even worse choices, or it could be, you know, it could have been the other person that you know, which you both left, that was maybe the issue. So you know, that's those are the things. And then when you ask a single mother, you know, why are you not together with this other person, usually their answer is, it wasn't me, it was their fault. So
Mm-hmm.
accountability, that's
Mm-hmm.
that's that's another issue, and that's another layer of why.
Yeah. So it's almost it would be better to hear, well, you know what, that was my fault, because at least with that there's accountability, right? There's honesty, I guess, and that would just indicate, well, you know what, it was my fault, but it was a mistake, you know, and I admit it, kind of thing,
Oh, what man,
at the very least.
if you can find a girl that would say that, hi, please
Yeah.
send her this way, because you know, it's so hard. It's so hard to
Yeah.
find a girl that can take
Yeah. It's
accountability,
Yes,
that she can say, you
absolutely.
know what, we both made mistakes. You know, because
Absolutely.
like I said, my long relationship, the one that I had, I
Hmm.
can man up and say, you know what, if I would have been a better man, if I would have known, if I would have had the
Mm.
knowledge that I have now, that would have worked. We'd still be together.
Yeah.
I would have been able to lead
Yes.
correctly. The problem was is
Hmm.
I didn't know how to lead. So, you know, I
Yeah.
had to educate myself. Once I educated myself, now I understand all the mistakes I made, the mistakes she made,
Hmm.
what she didn't understand.
Yes.
And she herself has said, you know, I didn't know. I was way too young. I didn't have the knowledge that I have now to
Yes.
appreciate all the sacrifices you were making for me, all the things you were doing for me. I didn't realize how
Yes.
good I had it. And then, you know,
Hmm.
I come back and I say, yeah, you know, it's my fault. I should have led better. So we can
Yeah.
come to that agreement where,
Yes.
you know what, it was better, of course, that we separated. I'm happy with my choice.
Yes.
And I'm not saying I'm not. I'm happy with my choice, and it was a good choice. Do I regret not working, having it not work out? Ah, you know, it didn't work out for good reason. I like to think that instead. Um, I could
Yes.
have done things differently, of course, but I take accountability for that. And not too many women
Yes.
can do that. And that's the main thing.
Yeah.
If all women took accountability for their stupid mistakes or their bad choices,
Yeah.
then you know what? We wouldn't have this space, really, to be honest with you. What would we talk about?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Exactly.
there'd be nothing for us to talk
Exactly.
about because we'd be at home happy with the woman we have. She takes
Hmm.
accountability. She takes good care of us. We take
Yes.
good care of her.
Yeah.
She's doing her duties. We're doing our duties. There'd be nothing
Yeah.
to talk about. We'd have
I mean, hell, not. Yeah.
you know.
Not to brag, but hell, man. You know, not to brag, but shit. If everybody had my situation, then yeah, there wouldn't be much to talk about here because with my fiance, she's this is the reason why I've been with her the longest I've ever been with any other woman because she has that accountability. She's amazing. Every time we have a disagreement, when it comes time to make up, she owns up to her mistakes. She says to me, well, you know what, babe, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. And I should have said this way. I should have elaborated better. I should have, you know, this mistake, this misunderstanding happened because, my mistakes here and there. And then I tell her, well, you know what, I appreciate that. And I made some mistakes too. When both partners have that accountability, that really makes things go, man. It's like the motor oil in the motor.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, that's the one thing that I think if a lot of single mothers would take that accountability and I think they would be a lot more um, attractive. When I mean, not attractive as in physically, but I mean, we'd be more inclined to be like, you know
Yes.
what, maybe you can work it out. The problem is since a lot of women can't take accountability. I said a lot,
Hmm.
not all.
Yeah.
Uh,
Not all, but a lot. Yes.
not all, but a lot. The majority of them, they really can't take accountability, and to a guy like me, when a girl can't take accountability, that makes her ugly. It just I don't know
Yeah.
what it is. Like I'll look
I
at her
agree with you 110%, man.
and
She could be a perfect 10, but if she doesn't have that, her personality's gross, then dude, forget about it.
yeah. So like she gets uglier to me the more and more, especially if like there's a good
Hmm.
situation where that I had recently where I had proof, right? So I'm
Yeah.
speaking the truth. I have proof of it. I'm showing them, and they're still like, nope. I'm just like, what the
Yeah.
see? What are you not
Yeah.
seeing? What are you not seeing
Hmm.
that I am seeing? Like, what's going on? Am I crazy or are
Exactly.
you
It's
crazy?
just so unreasonable.
Yeah, and it's like it's like they're in a whole new realm,
Yeah.
which I am not in. you know?
Well, that's just flat out lying, is what that is. If you show somebody proof without a reasonable doubt, this is the proof here, and they're still denying it, then and they're saying no, then that's just lies. Denial is lying.
Well, okay, so you and I can understand that, and actually, the majority of guys
Mm-hmm.
can understand this. Why? Because
Yeah.
we take accountability. Now, feminized men,
Mm-hmm.
of course, they don't understand this. They want to play the same
Mm-hmm.
game that the woman does, which is
Yep.
I'm showing you the video that it was you cheating, and the guy is
Mm-hmm.
like, nope, that's not me. you know?
Yeah, even though this guy has the exact same tattoos in the exact same places as you,
Yeah, it's like,
that same crappy haircut, that same horrible teeth you got, need braces. Yeah, all right, pal.
yeah.
It's your
So,
doppelganger.
well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's the same thing that a lot of these women do is you can come
Mm-hmm.
to them and tell them, and be like, I took the video of you stealing that. Like I literally
Mm-hmm.
have you on. I was standing in the room while I was taking the
Yes.
video and taping you while you stole that, and they'll still deny it.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
in that aspect, I think if the majority of women could actually take accountability,
Mm-hmm.
make life so much easier for everybody, really. And
Oh yeah, it would make life easier amongst themselves as well.
yeah, yeah. So and then on top of that, if they're a mother, and
Mm-hmm.
the guy for some, then you can say, oh, she took accountability. She's she can speak for herself. She's very how should I say, very authentic when it comes down
Yes.
to her being. Then you could say, you know what, it was the guy. The guy was an idiot.
Yep.
Then you could say that because now you have proof.
Yeah.
Because she's authentic. She's
Mm-hmm.
very feminine. She takes accountability. She's very
Yeah.
polite. Oh man,
Yeah.
once you see all that, and then she has a child, and you don't understand
Yes.
why she would be single, and it's because the guy was a jerk. You know.
Yes.
So I mean, there's always, how shall I say, the extreme of it, and I guess that would be an extreme group that
Mm-hmm.
we wish would exist. We
Yeah.
wish that
Yeah.
girl existed. So there's only a few diamonds in the rough, unfortunately.
Yeah.
If you find one, take her, and
Yeah.
if you believe it's the one that has the child, and you can
Mm.
see that you can make a future with her, you should. Would I
Absolutely.
recommend it personally? No. But
Yeah.
that's your choice as a man,
To each our own, right?
and you're gonna have to live with those the consequences of your choices. So it's up to you.
Absolutely.
And as a man,
Absolutely.
you could do nothing but take accountability. So I'm gonna leave
Yeah.
it as that. What are your
Yep.
closing thoughts on this?
Well, heck, my closing thoughts are, well, what's going through my mind right now, putting all this stuff into perspective in hindsight, I'm really just, I'm really starting to just appreciate my woman even more now, because of all these things we talked about. When I met her, no kids or nothing, completely fresh, clean slate, shall we say, right? Metaphorically speaking. And I really don't have any of these problems with her. She's accountable. She's sweet all the time. Hell, man, now that I'm thinking about it, like, hell, she's hardly ever grumpy with me or snappy or anything like that. I mean, even. Yeah, I guess I'm just grateful right now. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah,
Well, I mean,
I'm just grateful.
that's a good thing that you can see the value in what you have
Yes.
and appreciate it, and be grateful for it, that you're blessed.
Hmm.
Because some people are not, unfortunately, and some
Yeah.
of them are even in situations they can't get out of. So
Yeah.
you are in a good place
I mean,
now.
yes, I am. I mean, I'm not. Like, I'm right now, I'm still working on a lot of things, right? And, I know this is a pretty personal one, but right now I'm not in the best financial place. Right now I'm working on that. I'm still a work in progress, but, she's still here. She ain't leaving. So that in itself too, that's
That's a good one.
hell yeah, that's a good one. You know what? I ain't letting this one go. No way. No way.
Yeah, yeah, but that's good for you. I mean, we're all happy for you, and again,
Appreciate it,
we
brother.
want you to have a good future with her, and lots of babies, for the
Yeah.
family. So with that said, we'll be cutting it now. So again, as a man, if you're single, my personal advice: think about what you're about to do, especially if that's a single mother. Not because she's a bad person, but because there's a lot that comes with it. On top of that,
It's a gamble.
it is a gamble. On top of that, she's already shown you that she made one bad choice. Uh, you don't
Hmm.
know what other bad choice she's gonna make, and again,
Hmm.
you may be the one paying for it. So
Hmm.
I'm not saying every single girl is the same. There are, you know, one or two girls out there that are probably not that way. That it was just a bad dumb guy. But if the girl can't take
Yep.
accountability and she can't say that she did anything wrong, then that's already your cue to run the other way.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
she's already telling you, I'm perfect. There's nothing I do
Yep.
wrong. So whatever I do to you is your fault. So once that
Hmm.
happens and you start hearing that attitude, run,
Yep.
because
Absolutely.
it's not gonna help you in any way. So just watch out what you're gonna go through. Educate yourself, and make sure you're ready if you do decide to jump into that. Other than that, good luck.
Yep.
That's all we can tell you.
110%.
All right. Well, then we'll leave you guys with that. Till the next one. Peace.